Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Colts Cast. He's Jamal Lawrence. I am Eric Smith, your co-host of the Colts Cast. It's only October 19th, 2023, but it's time to give Indianapolis Colts fans a glimpse of what can happen in the future. We sit at 3-3. So I imagine at the rate we are going, we end up with a middle of the round draft pick. So most likely not a top 10 pick. And with that, Marvin Harrison Jr. is off the draft board. I know the narrative is there. Let's get Marvin Harrison's son in the building, but it is pretty unlikely at this point, although I won't rule it out. But for this episode, we're going to talk about another guy. The Colts are still in need of improving this wide receiver room, whether it's to encourage some friendly competition within the group or to find a true wide receiver one. However you take it. Let's look at Florida State Seminole Keon Coleman. Tell us your initial thoughts on this, ladies and gentlemen. Like, subscribe, comment below. Let me know what you think about Keon Coleman, the Florida State Seminole who's been rising up. Jamal, would you like to start or would you like me to start?
Hey, go ahead and talk your talk. Let people know what's up with him.
Oh, man. Chris Ballard just doesn't draft wide receivers in the first round, right?
Correct.
Yeah, seems like that's may stay the same. But let's say in this case, he, has just a light bulb click on. It's time for a change. And I'm looking at Keon Coleman, a clear upgrade that elevates this team to the next level. This would be like the Cincinnati Bengals finding their Jamar Chase to their Joe Burrow, or the Minnesota Vikings finding their Justin Jefferson to their Kirk Cousins in the first round. So this would be Keon Coleman helping out Anthony Richardson, who will be healthy back in 2024. He's got season-ending surgery. But look, this guy's stock is rising. I don't know if y'all watch college football, ACC football, but this man is bursting onto the scene in a lot of mock drafts. I've watched this guy play. Man looks deadly. 6'4", 215 pounds, extremely athletic, a big explosive playmaker. It's exactly what the doctor ordered. He is the wide receiver one on Florida State, and he's looking like that guy. Did anyone see that one-handed catch he had against Syracuse last week? I mean, this came at the very beginning of the game, Jamal. I know you saw that.
Dude jumped out the building.
Yeah. I mean, he elevated. My goodness. And just one hand just cranked it down. Catch of the year, maybe. Mm-hmm. As it stands, catch of the year. Guy's got exceptional hands, huge contested catch ability, great ball skills just all around. Agile, explosive, all great qualities of a number one receiver. They even use him on punt returns. Now, I'm not a big fan of doing that, of using your top player as a punt returner, but high risk, high reward. That's just my opinion, but to each its own. He's that traditional big-bodied X receiver we need, Jamal. Don't you think?
I would fully agree with that.
Yeah. I'm in love with this guy. I don't know how you feel about him, but, we're talking about the potential second wide receiver coming off the board right behind Marvin Harrison Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know if it'll happen, but, I mean, if a draft happened today, I'd put a little bet on it.
Yeah. And for those of you, like you said, Eric, who aren't quite familiar with his game, and the words Mr. Mark Jackson, he's balled out against LSU. 9 receptions, 122 yards for 3 touchdowns. Balled out against Syracuse, where he had that great catch. 9 receptions, 140 yards and a touchdown. And even looked great against Clemson. 5 receptions, 86 yards and 2 touchdowns. My man, he's that guy. He's out there, Eric. And like you talked about with that contested catch rate, last year, 62.5% contested catch rate, 4th among all 2024 NFL eligible wide receivers. My man is up there. I mean, he's just out there, and he makes it look easy when he does it. Again, explosiveness, big hands, what we're looking for in that wide receiver. And what I like about him too is not only can he draw that DPI if you need it, but he's gonna come down with that ball. Like if he goes up, he's coming down with it, and it's a value player that can thrive in this system, in the Shane Steichen offense, especially with, like you mentioned, a healthy AR back. I just think that this is a guy who could seriously elevate this team and elevate his game because he I mean, he's fast, he's explosive, he is not afraid to go up for anything that comes his way. And I mean, he can hurdle. I mean, I don't know if you saw a couple of the hurdle games he had. He's
Mm,
name it, he can do it. He can do it. There are a few cons.
athletic.
Talk about that in a minute, but because we like to be realist here. But as far as it goes, these pros outweigh these cons tenfold, and I ain't worried about some of the smaller cons he has. So I think that it could be a great fit for us. And Eric, I think my camera may have gone out there, so I may have chipped up a little bit. But what I was saying was, as great as the Marvin Harrison Jr. would be, especially in the Colts uniform, I like the value that we have with Keon. I think that he'd be a great player for us and can really elevate this team.
Yeah. I'm like Marvin Harrison Jr. would be my overall just with the history with the Indianapolis Colts, what Marvin Harrison's name means to Indianapolis. It just and he's the number one wide receiver prospect.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a match made in heaven if we could get him. However, we got to see how the season goes, what stocks go up and down for other players. But right now, you could see the Bears, if they drafted today, it's a 1-2 punch. They take Caleb Williams, they take Marvin Harrison Jr., and they move on from Justin Fields. I could very well see that, pairing the young man up with a stud receiver. So Keon Coleman, we got to look at alternatives. Great alternative. Like I said before, this wide receiver draft class is pretty deep so far from what we've seen. There's a lot of good guys. Keon Coleman's not the only one, but boy, he's making my eyes pop out of my socket from what I've seen him do at Florida State. I mean, he has the ability to generate separation at his size. Like you said, Jamal, great hands, good off that press. Real red zone target. I feel like we don't have big red zone targets on the Indianapolis Colts. I feel like our receivers, they're not on pace for a lot of passing touchdowns. So a big red zone target. I think all of Colts Nation should keep an eye on this guy. Just, whether you watch college football or not, this is a guy you want to keep your eyes on. He's already starting to click in our heads that he could be a very well possibility that the Colts draft him. We like Josh Downs last year. Right now, currently, we like Keon Coleman. He's going to be a game changer from what I've seen. We'll see how the year goes on, of course, but first round talent is knocking on your door. Let's manifest this into existence. Keon Coleman to the Indianapolis Colts in 2024. I would love that. This is like one of the best ways to help a young quarterback is get him a receiver that is going to elevate him, someone that's going to make his job easier, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And we've been talking since last year about how we need somebody. We got to have a receiver that's going to come in for us and really take this thing to the next level. And he is that guy. He's the contested guy. He can be that wide receiver one. He has the ability to do it from what we've seen so far. And I don't think he's going to slow down at any point and for the rest of the season for FSU. And I think it'll definitely translate over very well into the NFL because he has the tangibles to get out there and just create that separation, create great footwork, great hands. He has the ability to do what he needs to do, and I think he will look phenomenal in that Colts blue.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'd be lovely. I know Chris Ballard doesn't like doing it, but you talk about a highly athletic guy. He likes some high ROS scores. So maybe he gives Keon Coleman a chance in the first round. Let's see what happens. But that's our take on a little early, I won't even say mock draft, but a little early look at what the Indianapolis Colts could look at in the NFL draft of 2024. Jamal, any last words?
Hey, do what we got to do. Shane Steichen, he's the whisperer, man. He's that guy who we need right now to come in and kind of teach, or no, I won't say teach because that's not the right word, but kind of persuade Ballard to make some of these decisions. So let him do his thing. He likes the offensive side of the ball. Let's make it happen. Bring him on over to the blue.
Let's make it happen. That's going to be it for us, everyone. Thank you for listening to the Colts Cast. Let us know your thoughts below. We are live on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or any platform you use to listen to podcasts. We'll be back next time to give you some more Indianapolis Colts content.
Take care.